Tonight, you might eat chicken, or beef, or fish, normal dinner, nothing strange about it. But have you ever eaten a lion, or a wolf, or a shark? Probably not, and neither has almost anyone you know. Not because it's illegal, not because it's rare, because something in your body and in every human body before you has been quietly steering you away from it. Most people assume it's just taste or squeamishness, but that's not quite right. The real reason is older than agriculture, older than fire. Scientists have a name for the forces behind it, and by the end of this, you'll never look at a lion, a wolf, or your own dinner plate the same way again. So let's start with the obvious question. Why not? A predator is still meat, muscle, protein, fat, same building blocks as a cow. So why does almost every culture on Earth avoid it? Here's the first clue. Energy. Ecologists call it the 10% rule. Every time energy moves up a food chain, about 90% of it is lost as heat. A plant captures sunlight. A rabbit eats the plant and keeps 10% of that energy. A fox eats the rabbit and keeps 10% of that. By the time you get to a lion, you're standing at the very top of a pyramid built on thousands of pounds of grass that got smaller and smaller at every step. That means predator meat is expensive in a way beef never is. Feeding a lion enough to butcher it would take dozens of grazing animals across its lifetime. Early humans didn't need a biology degree to feel that math. Chasing a predator for meat almost never paid for the calories it cost to hunt it, but that's only half the story, because even if you caught one, eating it could kill you, not from a fight, from what's already inside the meat. Here's what's fascinating. Predators eat other animals, and whatever poison, parasite, or toxin was in that prey doesn't disappear. It concentrates. Scientists call this biomagnification. It's the same process that made DDT nearly wipe out bald eagles in the 1960s. The pesticide built up in fish, then built up again in the eagles that ate the fish, until it was thousands of times more concentrated at the top. A predator's body is a chemical archive of everything below it. So when you eat a predator, you're not just eating one animal, you're eating a lifetime of everything it ever ate. Imagine you're a hunter 12,000 years ago, and you finally bring down a wolf after days of tracking. You cut into the liver expecting a feast. Within hours, your vision blurs, your skin starts peeling, your bones ache like they're on fire. You didn't do anything wrong, you just ate the wrong organ. That's not a guess. Arctic explorers documented exactly this. In 1913, members of an Antarctic expedition ate husky liver and nearly died from something doctors later identified as hypervitaminosis A. A predator's liver stores vitamin A at levels that would be toxic in almost any other tissue. Polar bear liver is even worse. Indigenous Arctic communities have known for generations, passed down as strict rule, never eat the liver. One organ, enough to kill. And it might be the strangest part of all, this isn't the only trap hiding in predator meat. There's a second one, parasites. Predators are walking parasite reservoirs because parasites use the food chain like a ladder, climbing from prey into whatever eats the prey. Trichinosis is the classic example, a microscopic worm that lives in muscle tissue, passed along every time one carnivore eats another. Bears carry it. Wolves carry it. Even today, health agencies list bear meat as one of the highest risk foods for trichinosis in the world, and cooking it wrong is still making people sick. But here's what's really unsettling. Some of the deadliest transmissions in history came from eating brain tissue of close relatives, not distant predators. A slow, fatal brain disease called kuru spread through a New Guinea community that practiced eating the brains of their own dead, a disease scientists only fully explained by studying how misfolded proteins called prions could jump from body to body through flesh. It's an extreme case, but it revealed something universal. The closer you eat to the top of a food chain, the more you inherit its risks. And the closer you eat to another predator or another human, the worse those risks get. So evolution left us with a shortcut. We didn't need to understand biomagnification, hypervitaminosis, or prions. We just needed an instinct that said, this smells wrong, this tastes wrong, stay away. Anthropologists have found this pattern across cultures with no contact with each other all over the world. Predator meat, especially organ meat, shows up again and again on lists of foods considered spoiled, cursed, or forbidden long before anyone had a microscope to explain why. So what did our ancestors actually do instead? They ate the plant eaters, the grazers, the animals sitting 1 or 2 steps up the pyramid, not 5 or 6, safer calories, less concentrated poison, fewer parasites passed down the chain. Every culture that survived long enough to leave descendants was, in a sense, the culture that avoided the top of the food chain. Compare that to modern life. You've probably never thought about why beef feels normal but lion feels grotesque. It's not because you were taught to feel that way in school. It's because that reaction was carved into humans over hundreds of thousands of years by every ancestor who got sick, or didn't, based on what they chose to eat. The ones who felt disgust at rotten, risky, top-of-the-chain meat lived longer, had more children, passed that disgust forward. You inherited it, not as a rule someone told you, as has a feeling that arrives before you even think about it. So what killed the idea of eating apex predators for good? Agriculture did. Once humans domesticated grazing animals, there was no longer any need to gamble on a wolf or a bear. You could raise your own low-risk, high-yield meat and skip the pyramid entirely. The instinct to avoid predator meat didn't have to fade, it just never had to be tested again. It's still sitting inside you right now, untouched for thousands of years, waiting. Which brings us to the real answer. It was never really about taste. It was never really about squeamishness. It's a survival calculation written into your body before you were born, measuring energy, poison, and parasites, all without you ever running the numbers yourself. Every time something makes you feel just a little bit sick at the thought of eating a wolf or a lion or a shark, you're not being irrational. You're listening to every ancestor who almost didn't survive learning that lesson the hard way. They didn't get to choose whether they felt that instinct. You still get to notice it.